What's up, guys? Studfit here. We have another episode of The Rundown, this time in the Spring Tour / Athens Tour. Joined by my good friend Antilev. How you doing, man?
Doing great, man. Glad to be here. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Just full disclosure, we might have had a cat bite up a cord, and so the audio levels for Antilev might be a little lower than usual. That is, we'll work on things on post-production, but thanks again, Antilev, for joining us, man. We're excited for a brand new episode of The Rundown. I will say, a lot of times with The Rundown, we get pretty knee-deep in all this meta and which items have assumed tracks. Here's the thing, guys. We have an all-city tour. So everything that we're going to talk about is within the lens of people got buffed on tracks we may not see the rest of the year. And that's unfortunate, but that's also the case. That's why we kind of separate assumed tracks from city tracks. So everything we're about to say, take with a grain of salt when it comes to buffs. Really, the biggest buffs are, if you're going to everyone's going to walk away with a buff. You can't avoid it. And you know what? Most of the time it's just gravy on top of, the coverage that you already have. The thing is you want these ranked buffs. That's what you want to walk away with. And so that's really what we'll be highlighting. But essentially, if your favorite items got a ranked buff, you're walking away a winner because you hopefully predicted and had invested in something, hoping that it would get that right buff. But if you walk away with a buff in a city track, don't get too upset. It's just one tour that will have these city tracks. The game seems to be bringing cities more often. The thing is that as we get cities like Athens introduced, unfortunately, that just kind of dilutes the opportunities for city tracks to come back even more, because now we're up to points where we probably won't see a lot of your favorite city tracks come back until that next all city tour, which kind of seems to be the trend, or kind of this geographically based city tour. So with all that being said, I have to give a huge shout out to our members. We have an awesome group of members. Honestly, we could not do this without them. I think even my playing, as I've made this transition into a new job, I've been playing a little bit less than I have been before. But here's the thing: is I always want the rundown to keep going on as long as there are members supporting it, and as long as that is more than what we're allocating towards everything on the back end when it comes to keeping servers alive, Zoom accounts alive, making sure that Alberto is reimbursed as well. So thank you guys all for the support. You guys keep this alive. You guys make this happen. If it wasn't for these members, especially for the Super Studs. So Isa, Frenzy Fans, Frenzy Grind, SM Bros, Wallen Zhao, Hero of the Skies, Larry98, Natalie, Kareem, Jeeves, Nat. Thank you so much. You guys really are the MVPs. Let's get into, also, by the way, before we get into too much more, I do have to give a big shout out to a couple of my dear friends. So Wootmoo and Tyler, both ER members, just finished in the top 10 for All Cup ranking. In fact, Wootmoo finished number 1 and Tyler finished number 3. Both have been previous guests on Kart Talk, and this is my shameless plug. Both will be on this upcoming episode of Kart Talk. So definitely check out next week. We'll be excited to have them with us and hear their experience. But I have to give them a huge shout out, as well as also Avequado, who got her first top 100. She was on last Kart Talk and shared some of her experience mid-tour. So huge shout out to some of those supporters, and congratulations, guys. It's an awesome achievement. Let's get into now the Spring Tour / Athens Tour. Let's start with what's an interesting driver. Obviously, anytime we have a top skill, it kind of shakes up around the meta. Again, this is a city tour, so you notice all 11 of his tracks, which is a great number, are all cities. So even if he gets eventually to 33 cities, a third of his tracks are going to be cities no matter what. And so he will have an uphill climb to be able to get into a top 10, but he's an awesome skill. And we've seen it done before. The Blazing Eagle, if you remember, came out in a city tour, and it's been blazing hot since. And obviously you see it in the top 10. So it can be done. It's going to be a tough climb, but Antilev, tell us a little bit about Toad Tourist and our Giant Banana driver for a Toad alt, another city Giant Banana alt.
Okay, so Mario Sunshine was a city tour driver. Rosalina Chef was a city tour driver. White Tanuki Mario was a Nitro tour driver. Pink Ninja was a Nitro Tour driver. Yellow Me Racing Suit was an all-city driver. I think out of the high-end Giant Banana drivers we have in the game, only the Donkey Kong Me Racing Suit did not come out in a city tour or a Nitro Tour. So I wonder what kind of vendetta Nintendo has against Giant Banana drivers, whether they just want to give them terrible starts. But I love Giant Banana. It's probably my favorite skill. But it's really frustrating to have such a cool ult, and I love this ult. He's such a cool skin. He kind of reminds me of Johnny Depp's character from Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with the glasses. Yeah. But yeah, starting with 11 city tracks, so it's so we've seen now that Blazing Eagle's kind of broken the all city start curse and has become a great item in spite of its all city start. But the thing is that with a normal so if you're going to invest in an item with an all city start, it requires one of two things. It requires that you wait way longer than normal, in which case a lot of its ranked usage might have already passed us by, or you take a gamble on it. You can invest in him right now, but he's basically starting with, aside from using him this tour in ranked, zero value for long term. So normal driver starts with 8 to 10 tracks. The first 2-3 tours, they probably get 2, 3, 4 tracks buff each tour. You can end up with 16 to 20 tracks by the time you hit your third or fourth tour, which at that point is sort of okay, this is enough tracks where I can make a decision, sink some tickets in and do that. With an all city start, you're maybe going to get to 10 tracks at the very, very most optimistic by the fourth tour. For me, that's just not enough to invest that early, but that's when you want to be investing to take advantage of the ranked appearances. So Blazing Eagle, for example, it's a great card. Obviously, it's one I still haven't invested, and I probably won't ever will, just because the timing of its buff arc is pushed back because of the city start. The timing between when it becomes a good long-term investment and when it's in its ranked peak, it's kind of off, compared to a normal card. So that's just my little rant. Let's look at the starting tracks. He starts with 11 tracks, which is the most possible tracks, and he has 4 times in ranked. He's got the first week Athens Dash and the new city battle track Paris Promenade B, and then in week 2 he's got Athens Dash RT and Berlin Byways RT. So if you're going for it this tour and you need driver coverage, he is there on 4 brand new tracks in rank that you may not have good coverage for. So in that sense, that's fine. Talking about his long-term value, again, what we just talked about, we can't say. Yes, you have Blazing Eagle, which you have a lot of examples of all-city tour items, which, the vast majority didn't pan out. So, it's a massive gamble. He has a good skill, of course, but, I would say... I would view him a little bit kind of like Rosalina Chef. She came out in that all-city tour last summer. She had some decent value, wasn't ranked for a while, but she just never really hit the high heights of, like a White Tanuki Mario or Pinges, I would say.
Yeah, I think about, Rubies and what we have coming up. I mean, next tour we already have been given a little bit of a glimpse that we'll have these 4 Koopa Miis, and so we don't know exactly how we'll get them. Some predictions have that we'll have a week 1, week 2 ranked, ability to win them, and then maybe you have to buy the next 2. Rubies are going to be really important to have next tour. This tour we have obviously all these items are starting out with the city coverage to begin with, so it makes it real tough to really even be able to buy one of these and just stash it. It seems like a luxury at this point. So I think it's tough. We may not see Toad, the way they've been kind of doing things is kind of keeping these drivers that were released during a city kind of exclusive until that city comes back, the kind of way that we've seen Rosalina, Volendam, etc. So, I think from his perspective, he may not come back for a while until we come back to Athens. But from this perspective, if you want to get him and stash him, that's going to be a luxury. I don't think it's a must purchase. I mean, I know there's going to be plenty who have them at the top of their list. I'm thinking about the Banana Republic, the E-Deedles out there. But no, overall, I think if you have the Rubies and you have a good 300 stash for next tour, feel free to get him. But I don't think it's worth investing right away unless you're going for all cup ranking and trying to go for top 100, top 10, etc. In which case, then definitely get him and definitely take all your tickets and take him all the way up, because he's all over this tour. Again, he'll be all over this tour, and then he's going to be really only in a couple tracks each tour from going forward. So let's talk about the other driver. Obviously, we got a Me suit here with the blue Me kind of representing that the Greece blue that's in their flag, but obviously a lot of other top shelves, all covering city tracks. Antilev, what's your thoughts on the blue Me?
So the blue Me is starting with the dash ring. It's kind of like a typical Me start. You got 6 starting tracks, and one unlock instead of the 2. 2 ranked appearances. So one is Athens-2T, and that is level 1. So it's week 1, and then Berlin Byways RT in week 2 is also level 1. So you could, if you needed coverage, you could, spend the 70 rubies and get a top shelf driver. I don't know. I mean, the all city starting driver with the not fantastic skill. Yeah, sure. I mean, the people who are Me collectors are going to buy them. And I would say if you're kind of like my free play account where you are picking and choosing your Me's, this is one you could easily pass on.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm just looking at that top shelf on each one of these tracks, and they're pretty cluttered. There's a lot of other top skills on there. So, yeah, I don't think it's worth taking him up here. But I will say, he does give me some good vibes. I feel like every time I see him, I want to sing that song, like, I'm blue, da 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 da. So at least he's got that going for him, which I appreciate. Let's get into the carts. We got Jumbo Jetter, which I know on Kart live stream, on his reaction, there was quite some discrepancy about its size. Thankfully, Rashid was able to jump in and give us a little bit more detail on its side. It's actually one of the larger hitboxes. It's very, very wide, not necessarily short, but it's just as wide as the off-roader, but like something like 70% or so of its length. So it is up there with some of the larger carts. However, again, you still can run into the same issue where you got 10 city tracks to start. But I think when it comes to what people are investing in, I even remember the Blue Crawley cart did not have a great start, even had kind of a rough couple tours there, but people invested in it because of its hitbox. So Antilev, taking everything into consideration, the city start plus the hitbox. I mean, we even saw Blazing Eagle, people going in on that because of its hitbox. What's your thoughts here? What should people do when considering the Jumbo Jetter?
Yeah, so talking about the new carts. So okay, we have 5 new carts, first of all. So that's a lot of carts with a lot of terrible coverage. The Jumbo Jetter is very, very big. So the hitbox alone might save it. It might propel it. Especially it's got 2 ranked tracks. It's got this Paris Promenade battle track, and then it's got Athens Dash normal. So you can use it both times in ranked in week 1. Those are both level 1. They're not level up unlocks as well. Especially in Paris Promenade B, when you're maybe using a coin driver, Tuxedo Mario or Vacation Peach. It's nice to have that really big hitbox to pick up all those coins. I think it's harder to get coins from coin boxes on battle tracks than normal tracks. But looking at these carts, yeah, we're really gonna want to kind of. A lot of them are big, like the Gold Painter Solar Cart, big carts. It's hard to say. I think Gold Painter is a gold pass gift, and Silverflower Cart is a ranked gift. So I mean, the Jumbo Jetter, you can. I think it's a commemorative, right? You buy it.
No, actually, you have to get it with your 70 rubies.
Is it a ruby?
Yeah, I mean,
it's the Cream Classic is the banner one. Well, yeah, it's difficult to say because you're gonna get 2 other big carts basically for free if you're a Gold Pass driver. I don't know. I mean, I would say out of all the carts in this tour, Jumbo Jetter probably has the best chance of being good just because it's the biggest, and it's not a gold card. But yeah, I mean, as far as long-term value goes, this would be one I would maybe consider buying and stashing and like kind of waiting and see. But at the same time, yeah, like if it turns out being really good, it's going to come back into the spotlight shop in about 4 or 5 tours. So yeah, it's not essential to buy it.
I'm with you, man. I think for most, you should wait. I myself got a little carried away. I really just like the look of it. I was like, I got to try this for myself. And so I did drop 70 rubies, but I wouldn't advise most people to do that. Again, next tour is going to be pretty insane. We know that at the very least we have 4 Miis, which again are on the cheaper side for drivers, but times 4. Again, we might have to buy 2 of them, and then what if there's a Kart, and then everything that is released next tour could go 3 or 4 tours without seeing another city tour. So I think really like they're going to see some maximum value when they're getting 3-4 buffs. Yeah. The buffing cycle is going to be perfectly aligned with avoiding some of these cities, and then they're also going to avoid some of the nitro tracks. We just had a nitro track back to back with the Ninja Tour. So until between now and the Sunday, Sky High Sunday, we might see one inserted in there, a new nitro. But I think I'm working off the assumption that we may not have a nitro track until like July. I hope that they bring one in just because they've been so beautiful. But I mean, we have to work off the assumption that we might go the next 4 tours without seeing a nitro track or a new city tour. So in that perspective, next tour's items could be perfectly aligned to maximize that buffing cycle with the assumed track. So with that all being said, it's going to put Jumbo Jetter at a disadvantage comparatively, obviously because they're starting out 10 of his tracks releases this tour. Let's talk about another kart we just referred to, the Kareem Classic. Obviously it is a commemorative item, but starting out with 11 tracks, what's your thoughts, Antilev?
Yeah, so this one I think would probably be the smallest card. It's about the same width as the Cucumber, the Bronze Cucumber, which is also out this tour, but it's not quite as long. It is a very, very medium-sized card. I love the way it looks. It looks like a very appropriate for a lot of these cities that you're kind of driving around this old classic car. And it's it's kind of useful for this tour. It's got 4 ranked appearances, and only one of those is an unlock level 6 unlock Berlin Byways RT, but it's got the Paris Promenade track, the battle track, and it's got Athens-RT in week 2 and Athens-2T in week 1. But again, it is it's not a big hitbox, so I would say don't be too optimistic about this one. I bought it just because I like the way it looks, but I'm definitely not going to invest in it. I'll stash it, and it'll probably stay at level 1 forever.
Yeah, it's definitely a medium based on what we're seeing here in some of the data. So we're thinking like Sakura Hot Rod and Sports Coupe and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's not as it's not like
not bad magony.
Yeah. So again, you could do worse. Again, it's the downside is kind of what I was alluding to before, just about things coming out next tour much having an advantage over these, but we've seen it done specifically with the Blazing Eagle, which we'll get to probably in about 30 minutes. Let's talk about the silver flower cards. I know you are a big fan of the original flower cards. What's your thoughts on the silver variant?
Yeah, I took the original flower card up to 8 right in the first tour because I was going for top 10 that tour, so it's just kind of but the flower card is a weird shaped card. It's not super wide like off-roaders or Blazing Eagle or Vampire Fly or anything like that. It's pretty wide, but it's not like mega wide. It's very, very long, and it's also like really tall. So the hitbox is the effective hitbox is really huge, especially when you're gliding. The height helps you pick up multiple coins. So it's got 3 ranked tracks. 1 in week 1, the battle track. It seems like they're putting everything on this Paris battle track. And then 2 in week 2, Berlin Byways RT and Amsterdam Drift 2. This is a ranked reward, so you can't use it in week 1 on the battle track ranked. So it's got those 2 on week 2, and even worse, the Amsterdam Drift 2 is level 6 unlock. So not the greatest start, even compared to the other cars in this tour.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Let's go into the Bronze Cucumber. We've alluded to it a little bit. Both the Bronze Cucumber and the last card we were talking about, the Silver. So the Bronze and Silver are roughly the kind of very similar styles of cards when you think about like its size and hitbox. Both of them are kind of in this extra large, not giant, but extra large. Both very long, not quite as wide, but can, when used, appropriately on ramps and stuff, can help you get some extra items. Not small, not medium, but certainly above the minimum viable hitbox. I actually kind of like the way that the cucumbers handle. What's your thought on the bronze cucumber? It's the first time we've had like a bronze Kart. I wonder what it must have a good feel.
I like the way it looks. I mean, I like the cucumber. Like the regular cucumber is one of the nicest supers in the game. But I don't know. Where is this one? Is this one? Do we get this one as a week 2?
I was assuming as a week 2 spotlight.
Because I'm looking at the data mining, and I see the regular flower cart, and I see the whole Rosalie Volendam set in the spotlight at week 2, but I don't see the it might be a week 2 ranked prize. Let me check real quick. But in that case, you won't be able to use it this tour at all.
Oh yeah, because you would get it till like late Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be
double check on that one, but yeah. Plays high in the rank cup for the second half of the tour, and you get the bronze cucumber cart and the purple cucumber free running. So, in addition to having a bad start, you're not going to be able to use it at all this tour. So, I think we can write this one off right away. We talk about his ranked tracks as one, but since you're not going to be able to use it anyways, I know it's a level 8 unlock anyways, just to add insult to injury. So, yeah, okay. Well, that says all you need to know about the bronze cucumber. Hitbox wise, yeah, it's kind of longer. Medium width and longer, but yeah, I mean, I don't see it doing much of anything.
I'm with you, man. Again, all these items, if you get them, that's for ranked, that's totally fine. I don't think anyone's going to be clamoring to make sure that I think people are more concerned with just if they're trying to get to tier 80 or tier 99, trying to, like, that's actually, it seems like the better prize between winning some of these items. Let's get into the gold painter. Now, here's the thing, is a lot of these gold carts, they've become quite mundane, is that none of them have really hit the meta that much when it comes to a gold pass gift. Here's the thing though, some of these are a little bigger in size. This painter, quite a large hitbox. So does that change your opinion on this gold cart?
Not really, because it's a gold cart. Starting with 9 tracks, all cities. Guess I don't need to say that. 2 ranked appearances, both week 2. Berlin Byway RT and Athens RT. Unfortunately, Athens RT is a level 8 unlock. So at least they didn't, because it's a gold pass gift, so you could use it in week 1. But yeah, at least they didn't do like give it week 1, have it be a week 2 availability and give it the week 1 ranked. But still, I'm not too optimistic about it. I mean, I think 5 carts is kind of overkill this tour, but I do like the way all 5 of them look. Actually, I think they all look great. But value wise, yeah, I mean, if you're gold pass, and you get top 3, you're gonna have 2 of them anyways. Maybe grab the jumbo jetter and stash it, and then the cream classic if you wanna buy it, because that's the banner one. It's probably not worth it. I think we're just gonna take a wait and see approach in all these and hope that one of them ends up like Blazing Eagle.
It's going to be tough to wait it out. I think in general, commemorative items seem to be a little bit better in general. I like the Jumbo Jet just because it's an original, brand new skin for us, so that there's something exciting about that. And it's all, they're large hitboxes. So I think overall, great job, Nintendo. Unfortunately, the downside is they're all on the city track. So really, their value is kind of a wait and see approach anyway. And by then, who knows? Maybe it comes back into our shop by then. I will say for this gold painter, this is not a bad tour too if you want to use your gold pass free trial membership, because this is if you don't have if you're new or something, this might be a cool one to have. I just like how they have the green and red little paint part in the back, like they actually keep that its original color and not goldify it. I think that's a nice look, Nintendo. Good job. All right, let's get into the gliders. We had this golden glider. Eventually, one of these gliders with a long wingspan between this and the stealth, or a future one, could be really cool. One of them could emerge. I don't think it's going to be this one, though. Antilev, what's your thoughts on the golden glider?
It's going to be really confusing because we have the gold glider, which the old school players know was probably the first consensus #1 item in the game. And then we have the golden glider, which doesn't look like super golden at all. And then its special skill is red shell plus, so which is a bit of a head scratcher as well. It's coming in with an okay start for this tour. 3 ranked tracks: Athens Dash N in the first week, Athens Dash RT in the second week, and Berlin Byways RT in the second week. Unfortunately, Athens Dash RT is a level 8 unlock, so realistically, you're probably only going to be using it on those 2 tracks. I like the way it looks, and I like red shell gliders because red shell gliders don't impact your item odds for special items in any item slot. That's a little known fact. Even in second place, if you're doing lucky 7, boomerang, doesn't matter. You can't get them in first place, obviously not coin box. And they're nice for multiplayer sometimes. Red shell gliders. Yeah, it's. Is it a new skin? It's not a new skin. Huh? We had that kind of like camo-looking military similar one. The stealth.
It reminds me of the stealth glider.
Stealth glider, yeah. I think it's a pilot stealth glider. It looks better than the stealth glider, in my opinion.
It does. I think it'd go really cool with like the wild gold. With kind of that blue and gold and red. I mean, there's not really. I'm looking at it right now. There's not really like any red in the wild gold, but. I just there is enough blue in the golden glider that it could be a good pairing. You know me, I'm always about the aesthetics, man. Let's get into last but not least the gold tulips, the other goldified item. What's your thoughts on this coin plus glider?
So it's
a lot of old tracks. Mm-hmm. It's of its city tracks. A lot of them are older. It's only got 1 track released this tour.
Yeah. I mean, it's, so the original Tulip Corsage was also an all-city starter. And actually, that one turned out kind of under the radar, like pretty okay. It has a lot of useful and interesting coverage. This one, it's starting out with like obviously a bunch of Amsterdam tracks, like 3 Amsterdam tracks, and then 2 London tracks and 3 Paris tracks. None of which is the new battle track. So that's basically the only new track it's getting. We have 10 new tracks this tour is Athens Dash 2, which is not in rank. It's also level 8 unlock. So as far as starts go, it's pretty terrible, even in the context of this tour. It isn't ranked on that Amsterdam Drift 2 track in the second week. That's the only returning track we haven't ranked. The other 5 ranked tracks are new tracks. But I don't know. I mean, if you want to just base it off of the performance of the original Tulip Corsage, it might be worth grabbing and stashing. I think this one is also a Gold Pass gift. So if you're Gold Pass, you're going to have it. To your point about using your free trial this tour, yes, you get 2 new items in Gold Pass gifts, but
you'd rather save it. I feel like everything's been garbage, so to get 2 items is kind of better. Than one.
I used mine in the Yoshi tour, not this year but the year before. And it was like the gold bunny was the gift, and I used it because I just basically needed the extra rubies to pull for Gold Egg Yoshi, which was absolutely worth it. And for a long time, I was like, oh, I hope I don't regret using it because there's going to come some great item in the Gold Pass gifts, and I'm not going to be able to get it. We had Gold King Boo way back and Gold Koopa Free Running way back in the Gold Pass gifts. But it looks like, obviously, that ship has completely sailed. I don't think we got a really great item in the Gold Pass. I can't even remember the last item we had in the Gold Pass gifts that was that sniffed the top 10. And Gold Bullet Blast, Joe, is that a Gold Pass gift? I'm not sure.
No, Gold Bullet Blast came out with gold charging Chuck in that one pipe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, you asked my gold item all city start. Even cities or older tracks, that makes me feel like it's going to get older tracks as well. I don't know, it's just a guess, but if I had to pick one of the gliders, I'd probably go with the golden glider.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good. If you aren't too worried about saving for next tour, and you want to get into the Spotlight Shop, huge credit to Sam78IT. If you have not checked out his toolbox, I highly recommend it. You can find it at mkttoolbox.com. We love Sam78IT. He and I have, he's allowed me to collaborate with him on his toolbox. So everywhere where you see a ruby colored Studfit logo, that's built into his toolbox. And essentially, this is kind of should be seen as like a little nudge, or just, hey, by the way, this could be good for a lot of accounts. Here's the thing about Mario Kart Tour, and the beauty of the game in general, is that so many players can have so different inventory, and something that could be good for one player may not be good for another. So any of these nudges or little recommendations, it's just kind of with a broad stroke saying, hey, this could help out your account or not. Really it's up to you and what you've invested in thus far. Highly recommend looking at some of the spreadsheets that are out there. Antilev has a great one. There are a number of Bama Gerb's, Redblock, and so Ben's version as well. So some really good versions. Highly recommend taking a look at your account and see what makes sense. But with that being said, I've kind of pointed a few different ones. I kind of try to keep even numbers. Usually drivers are lacking in general. I will say, comparatively, the Nintendo's kind of given us a little better driver selection this tour than I feel like they have the last couple tours. I think the biggest one for most accounts is going to be Toad Astronaut. He is crushing it right now. He's obviously in ranked. He's had a number of ranked exclusives. If you invested in him from the get-go, you've been really proud of your investment. So he's probably the number one I would have on that list. There are a couple other ones. You can technically be getting Toad Tourist in next week in your Spotlight shop. So if I would just highly recommend, if you're going to get him, just get him week 1, get him for those 70 rubies. You also do have the light blue Shy Guy Explorer who comes back. Again, I think a lot of people got him when he was 70 rubies, and if he didn't, it kind of sucks not having to pay that 30 ruby difference. But overall, he's been pretty good. I think I've been pretty impressed with how Nintendo's treated him since his initial release. But again, just like any driver that's not a meat driver, their shelf life is about 3 to 4 or 5 months, and you want to ride it while it's hot. Part of that hotness has already gone by, so just know you might only have 2 or 3 months left of his peak. But if you missed out on him, you like Lucky 7 skill, worth getting for those newer players. And then you got some other ones in here. Obviously, you got Chef Rosalina, who has that giant banana skill. You have Luigi Knight, and I put Luigi Chef in there as well. He's been kind of sneaky good. I mean, just for whatever reason, some of these Luigis have been sneaky, including this cat Luigi. He's got a terrible skill. One of the, probably in my opinion, my least favorite skill. But here's the thing: is with it, when it comes to his coverage, he's been seems like in ranked every single week. So if you don't mind that aspect, and maybe you got a free to play account, or just want coverage and that's it, and you're just limping by, he could fill in a gap for you. I think as you get into some of the gold items, gold Yoshi Gold something and gold Charging Chuck, not bad options for you there. Moving into the carts, I think there are a couple different ways to look at this. I think that there are some hot items that are peaking right now that you can't miss out on. I think Blazing Eagle has to be a part of that list. I think you also got the Blooper Shuttle. If you missed out on it, it's been pretty strong here recently too. And I think that's Moo Off-Roader because it was a commemorative item. Maybe you didn't pay for that, and so you want to get it for the rubies. Certainly you're not feeling bad that you missed out on its value. And kind of the same conversation goes for the Blue Crawly card. Obviously coming back, getting it for rubies as compared to your hard-earned dollars might be worth it for you. And then there's that's kind of tier 1. That's kind of what I would expect most players to really want to get. And then you kind of have these items that are that have done really well for a long period of time, but kind of slowly started to fade out into the sunset. And those would be kind of things like Armored Rider, Cupid's Arrow, Lightning Streamliner, Flowery Badwagon. These have been items that came out, around this time last year, maybe even earlier, but doing really, pretty well. And you have some other items too that's kind of on that fringe. People could debate if the Camo Tanuki Kart or maybe even the Pink Speeder should be a part of the first tier. They're pretty hot. I think the Camo Tanuki between those two is hotter. And I think Purple, but I put it in the same category along with the Purple Dozer. Just pretty good ones. If you take a look at your account, there I would say compared to say the Blazing Eagle or Moo Off-Roader, it's a little bit more hit or miss. It's going to depend on your account, what you've invested in so far. I think I hit on most of those. And then of course the Gold Bowl Blaster, it's been sneaky good, but it's probably the smallest hitbox of all the ones that I'm kind of nudging you in that direction. Most of the ones that I highly recommend are at least a medium-sized hitbox or above. that Gold Blow Blaster, definitely the smallest of those. But it's nice to not have the Straddle on that list, because that one was just so tough to get behind, even though it had great coverage. And then moving over to the gliders, I think the number one glider, if you do not have it yet, and you've been living in a cave, or maybe you just started the game this past week, the 8-bit 1-up mushroom has to be the number one glider for anyone to invest in. If you don't have it, don't even look at the spreadsheets, just get it. It is going to pay dividends for you. And everyone was expecting it to die off here. And here it is, continuing to crush it after crush it after crush it, tour after tour. There's some other great items that are peaking right now as well, like the wonderful diamond is doing really, really well right now. The yellow hard hat is doing well. Even the other wonderful glider here, the wonderful garnet, still coming on pretty strong. It's a little bit older than the wonderful diamond, so if you have to kind of pick between the two, I kind of prefer the diamond myself. But there's a lot of meta gliders in here. So if you notice, of these like 12 or so that I selected, I think like 9 of them or so are top 10 items. Maybe 8 of them are top 10 items. And that's, I think, built into the algorithm, is that it's somewhat predictive. So it should be no surprise to you that the ones that are in the top 10 are in rank the following tour. That's kind of like how Antilev has totally manipulated the game to be able to hopefully get you triggered on items before they become too hot, and then everyone's already over it. So I think from this perspective, there's some other great ones. I myself have invested in the Sakura Origami Glider. I had it at 7,490, and I looked at the spreadsheet, and by taking it to 8,715, I think I have like 6 or 7 gliders that would be at that level, 8,715, and it would be the number one at that size. So at that specific level set. So it would be only lower than the quad capped gliders that I have. So for me, it made a lot of sense. I highly recommend it. It's got 44 tracks total, which is absolutely insane when you think about total number of tracks. Now, I think it's got like 9 cities and like 6 nitros, or maybe those are flipped, but so it's only got like 29 tracks that are assumed, but 29 assumed tracks coming back every tour, that's phenomenal. So highly recommend that option. Minta Berry balloons, Fire Manta have been pretty strong as well. For myself, I have my highest level 6 glider is the Calico Toe Beam balloons, so that'll be my next on my list to take it up, and it's in week 2 as well. So a pretty strong glider to kind of pair really well with some of the meta. That could really kind of pairs out. I will say the King Boom, the Boom Masks, Lava Rocks, wonderful wings. I don't think I have to say anything about those. Those have been pretty strong for the last 6 months, it seems. So hopefully, if you've already gotten, it's been in the shop a number of times. So hopefully you have it. Hopefully you've already leveled it up, and you can start focusing on these newer, hotter items. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on the Daily Spotlight shop? Which ones did I include that I probably shouldn't have? Which ones did I miss?
No, I think you hit it. I think you're kind of downplaying some of the ones that you picked, but I think they're all. I mean, like Camo Tanuki, it's like it's a number 3 card right now. You know, it's pretty sneaky hot. You know, Wonderful Garnet is a top 10 glider. So yeah, absolutely. No, I think you touched on everything. Which there's some. It's difficult, right? Because like Armored Rider is a good example, is one that you mentioned. It's a top 10 glider, or a top 10 cart rather. It's number 9 on the list right now, but it came out, I think, like last year, February or something, so it's more than a year old. So it's just a question of like, yeah, it's top 10 right now and it's got amazing coverage, but how long is that going to stick around for? It's difficult, because it's in the top 10, and so is the Yellow Off-Roader, based on its huge coverage and how good it has been. Whereas other carts like the Blooper Shuttle, Camo Tanuki cart, Moo Moo Off-Roader, those are more based on how, Blue Crawley cart is number 10. Those are kind of more based on how good we're predicting them to be, and then we kind of smush them all into one list all together. But I mean, still, so the only thing I would say is like, yeah, some of those top rated items, if they're a little on the older side, you may not want to pick them up this tour, just because this tour they're not getting a lot of extra value from the city buffs. But those newer items, Yellow Hard Hat Balloon, for example, Wonderful Diamond, like you mentioned, all great pickups. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I went back and forth, I think 3 different messages or so with this gentleman on Reddit called Mr. Mariel, and he was asking Sakura Origami Glider, or Wonderful Garnet or Wonderful Diamonds. And I kind of had that thought process in my mind is whether it's going for the armored rider or one of these newer carts like Blazing Eagle or even the Blue Crawley cart, it's going to be tough. I mean, it really depends on your account and what you need help with. I think for his perspective, he was just looking for just coverage, and that's it. And I think that's playing checkers. That's good. It's good to have just general coverage. You want to track covered. That's a good baseline. But I think what's really helpful is thinking about kind of playing chess with your account when it comes to what could I invest to that every ticket is equal to 12 tracks or 15 tracks based on your gaps. And so that's really where the spreadsheets come in. These are simply nudges to get you there. I think for a lot of players, if you like the Sakura Origami Glider might actually be much more useful than say even the Fuzzy Kites or something like that. But the Fuzzy Kite's new, so it's going to help you with ranked. And it's going to help you get a couple extra rubies for the next couple weeks. But if you go for ACR, you have to go Sakura Origami Glider. I think that's going to be a no-brainer for you. It's going to get you some really good coverage. If you think about a triple cap, that's 29 tracks that you're triple and capping. And those points add up, especially when you're going for all cup ranking. So depends on the account, depends on how long you've played, depends if you're pay to win, free to lose. It's really up to you and your account. So long tangent there, but to say, I'm trying to kind of hedge some of it. That's probably why I'm underplaying some of it. But it depends on your account. It really depends on what you're going for and what meets your goals and your style of play. Good. Let's get into the buffs. And again, we might breeze through these a little bit more than usual. Shout out to Alberto, who also helps us with these slides. And I think he's probably going to be making a voodoo doll of me for having all these slides. There's a lot of buffs here. All of them are city buffs. So for as much work as he put into it, we may not get all the value out of each one because we'll be breezing through. I mean, ultimately, you want to rank track, and that's the rest of it is just gravy. I don't think it's really much more notable. So when we look at Poochie, obviously he came out last tour, and he's lucky 7. So I think for a lot of people, some fans of Poochie went all in. I'm thinking about B-Rad Geo, so shout out. Unfortunately, he finished 105th in all cup ranking, so close, but I saw he went all in on all the Poochie items, including the little flower and all the other fun stuff. So certainly he's a fun one to have. I think when you're looking at his buff, so he just has this Berlin Byways RT, which is the second week. What's interesting also about ranked in general is you have of the 6 tracks, 3 of them are Athens tracks, and then you have a brand new RT track there in Berlin, and then you have the track everyone hates, the Amsterdam 2 reverse or whatever. It's because it's underwater the whole time. There's so many other tracks that they could have included. Like we only got 1 track reoccurring that came out before this tour, and it's like the track everyone didn't want. So I wish they would have given us Amsterdam 1. It's one of my favorite.
Or 3, yeah.
Or 3, yeah. I'm with you there. But that it is what it is. But again, most of the items that got the Athens tracks end up winning just because you have 3 Athens tracks in ranked of the 6. So big win there for those. And of course you have the battle track, which have the community grumbling. We might hear later a little rant from me as to my opinion on the battle tracks, but I don't want to take any time away from the buffings. So Poochie walks away with Berlin Byways RT, so it might help you in week 2 of ranked. For the drivers with 4 buffs, we have 8. Those including Toad Astronaut, which just has the Athens Rush, which, by the way, is a phenomenal track when you're thinking about. Maybe we'll take a time out and tell what are the best ranked tracks when it comes to buffing. There are some that are not quite as good. Like I would say the Berlin Byways RT. That one's just full of items. You've got some super items in there. And then you have some other tougher ones, like I would say probably the Athens RT seem to be one of the thinnest top shelves I've seen in quite some time. So what are some of the best buffs when it comes to ranked and just taking into consideration ranked only?
Yeah, so I usually make the top 5 buffs of the tour. I didn't do that this tour because they're all like pretty close in value, but because city tracks are just so low. But looking at I did the top 20 buffs, and it looks like the 2 tracks you want to get are the 2 week 1 ones, Athens Dash and Athens-2T. And then I think Athens-RT is coming in after that one as the most valuable. But yeah, you're right. The Athens tracks in ranked are one of the more paywalled ones. What it looks like, Athens-RT I think is a little bit more down the list, not quite as valuable. Yeah, but I mean, it's the difference is so slight. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, I think the gliders and carts for Athens-RT aren't too bad, but for drivers it's tough. At least for me,
for drivers it's tough. Yeah, that's true.
You just got the brand new driver, which I would be reluctant to invest in, the Toad Tourist or Gold Charging Chuck. So that's really your only other options. I will say for those who invested in the Goomba Me suit last week in ranked because it was the only thing worth investing in from a me perspective, you're walking away a winner because it gets that track and it's shared with, of course, Cat Luigi and Cheap Me and White Me and that's Chef Luigi. So I will say though, Toad Astronaut on this the Athens Dash is an absolute bonkers track. You got I think 3 Coinbox drivers on the middle shelf. I think we saw Carlos get 225 actions through like a double boombox and like a red shell or something like that. But yeah, I mean, this is a huge win for him. It's just him and basically Daisy Tidress. So they both walk away a winner from that track perspective. But sticking with the drivers with 4 buffs, you also have Larry Wintertime, who got this Berlin Byways RT. Again, that top shelf is not hard to cover when it comes to drivers. You got plenty of options there. You have a double feature with this Yellow Me, you have Santa Me, you have Volendam, you got Poochie, you got Mario Saddle of You, you got Luigi Night, and even a couple Mii's in there for the flex. So I think Larry Wintertime, this is not a great buffing from him. Again, it's the city tour, so it could have been a worser tour to walk away a loser, but certainly not a great one for him. Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer does get the Athens-2T, which is not a bad track for him. It's in ranked, and then you have Kitsune Luigi walking away with the Athens Dash, Daisy Sailor with Berlin Byways RT, Toadette Astronaut Paris Promenade, the Battle Track, Yellow Shy Guy Explorer with the Berlin Byways RT, and then Chef Luigi there with that Athens Dash RT. Antilev, what's your thoughts on these drivers with the most buffs?
Oh man, it's kind of painful seeing all these great drivers with getting like loaded up with cities. My condolences to the people who are all in on Poochie. He comes out in a Nitro tour and then immediately gets stuck with this. I ended up passing up and not buying him just because I wanted to wait and see what the next tour was. It's a tough start for him to overcome, but we'll see how it goes. But it's Larry Wintertime is kind of suffering mostly due to this. He's got good coverage, but his small hitbox is kind of, there's a lot of tracks where he's like, he's an exclusive, but there's also a boomerang driver there, and you're kind of like, nah, I don't want to suffer with this small hitbox. I'm just going to go for a boomerang or something like that, It's kind of what you expected. Mostly the newer drivers are getting the most buffs, especially in the city tour. How many buffs do you think there are in this tour? It's an absolutely crazy amount.
Yeah, it seems like 300 seems to be kind of like the max out ceiling for the last couple tours.
There are more than 600 buffs on returning items this tour.
Wow, that is insanity.
605 total buffs.
Wow,
that's the most we've ever had, like by far. It's insane. And they managed to not give any existing driver 2 ranked tracks. That's
crazy, dude. So shout out to Alberto. Thank you very much for your hard work. All 600 of those buffs are
Hope he's getting paid overtime
here on these slides. Hopefully you don't hurt that voodoo doll too much in retaliation. But yeah, you're right. With these drivers with 3 buffs, you got Gold Charging Chuck. He walks away with the Athens Dash RT. A great track for him. That's a huge win for Gold Charging Chuck. I mean, you're just hoping to get the ranked buff and then you're off. And he is by far the best one when it comes to him. Daisy Tidress, she walks away a winner with this Athens Dash. She's the only Coinbox driver on that track, so it's a huge win for her. And one of the biggest letdowns in general is P Piranha Gold. He's been, although he's a top 10 driver, he's got a large hitbox. Still one of the newest Coinbox drivers out there. Still relatively elusive. You haven't had a lot of opportunities to get him, but that's okay because he doesn't seem to be doing that great. Obviously, this Amsterdam Drift 2, a returning track, and you had plenty of options to begin with. So I will say he does walk away with these 3 buffs, but not a huge winner necessarily above it all. White Tanuki Mario, nothing in ranked. This Rocky Wrench Mii suit, sneaky guys. Number 14 on our list and does get this Athens Dash regular track that's in ranked. Yellow Mii Racing suit has the Athens Dash 2T and a double feature in ranked. So you really got to like this yellow Mii suit. I've been debating on whether I want to use that or Luigi Vacation, even who I have level 8 triple uncapped. But that's the way the Miis are right now, is that even a giant banana Mii suit, thinking about triple uncapping or quad uncapping it, could beat out substantially a Coinbox driver or Boomerang driver that's at the same level. So it's just that's where we're at with the Miis. King Mario does walk away. I think his he's had such a unique experience within the Mario Kart Tour community, and they seem to be getting him some squirrely buffs. He's been kind of sneaky useful here of late, but he in ranked with this Athens Dash 2T. Pretty strong one for him. That's there. He's been doing pretty well. So, I mean, here's the thing is, this is a city tour. He came out in the city tour. It's just really tough for a lot to invest in him. But if you do, I mean, there's so many people that have either shied away or just, in general, some kind of boycott variation, have decided not to. So if so, I think that it's treating you well. I mean, I think he could be worse, but we'll start to see him start to die off here soon. And I think we'll walk away at the end of 2023 considering him a big loss when it comes to not just coverage, but also for our rubies, for those who pulled on him. We do have the Santa Mii with the Amsterdam Drift 2, which again, not an awesome track. It shares that with the yellow Mii Racing suit, but I think overall you could do much worse. It's definitely one I'll be using for that track. Ice Cream Mii suit got the Athens Dash. That's probably where I'll stop things. You got a lot of Mii suits, you got some other items, you even have some supers here at the end. But what's your thoughts here on the drivers with 3 buffs, Antilev?
A bit more the same, like what you want to see from a tour like this is the drivers that you've invested in, the items that you get your eye on for investment, get 1 buff, which is in rank, and get out, and that's it. So I see a lot of drivers here that I like. It's kind of painful seeing the yellow Mii suit with more cities than non-city tracks. Santa Mii Racing suit also a lot of cities, not quite as bad. King Mario 20 cities. It's rough. But no, I think you touched on everything that we didn't touch on. I mean, like the older drivers, like Ty Daisy at this point, she's getting close to a year old. So, like we talked about before, the older drivers, it doesn't matter so much if they get city buffs because they've seen everything. She's seen basically all tracks.
I'm with you there. Let's get to the rest of the drivers, and then we'll probably speed through until we get to Karts. But we got a lot of Mii suits here, guys. I will say Hammer Bro, kind of sneaky here. Number 11 on our list, even though he does not have any ranked tracks this tour. Goomba Mii, we kind of talked about him a little bit. He's got this Athens Dash RT. So those who invested in him last tour have been really excited to see him there. For Dry Bones, he got the Athens Dash 2T. And then no one really gets a ranked track till Brown Mii Racing Suit got the Athens Dash RT. Black Mii Racing Suit got the Berlin Byways RT. And they got some supers there at the end, and then kind of getting into the drivers with 1 buff, and I'll just keep going. Antilev. Gold Mii Racing Suit got the Athens Dash 2, but it's not in ranked. Peter Piranha Mii Racing Suit, a huge winner here with the Paris Promenade R. Maybe this is where I'll stop, Antilev, because the topic about battle tracks have come up in the community, and I think people, for those who aren't a part of a community, there's much part of the community who is collaborating and coordinating with each other's schedules and entering into a battle lobby together, and a number of Coinbox drivers going around and trying to get a boombox with their friends. And so the topic of where does this stand ethically or morally has come up. I will say, from my perspective, I think even some people have been using the cheating word. I don't feel like it's cheating. I do think that when I think about cheating, especially as a leader of ER, there's kind of three things we're looking for. One is can the average player do this? And then there's like the second part of the rule, which is is this in how the game was intended? Does this keep up the integrity of the game? And then last but not least, is there a victim of doing it this way? And I would say when it comes to getting your friends together and boomboxing in a battle lobby, I don't think that any of those rules would be broken. So I don't consider it cheating. Some people would still frown upon it. I did frown upon the shrooming. I don't think that's how the game was intended to play. It was exploiting a glitch in the game. But Nintendo fixed that. I think because they fixed it, it says, hey guys, this is how it's supposed to be played. And honestly, I think Nintendo, I think if they were to want to fix it, they wouldn't be putting it in ranked. So from that perspective, I think they're saying, green, go, do whatever you need to. I think Nintendo, honestly, in my opinion, is they should fix the track by removing all battle tracks from ranked, from all cup ranking, and just have it its own separate multiplayer thing that experience, and not be in any of the cups. Until then, we will always have this debate on is it morally or ethically against the rules. My personal opinion is, hey, if you have friends, if you are a part of the community, get them together, feel free. The thing is that only one person can hold a coin box at a time. So it's not like you'll be having coin boxes flying around all over the place. Only one person can hold one box at a time. Now you can have, different frenzies and other stuff going on, but ultimately, I have no problem with getting together with your friends. I have not done this yet. I might this tour collaborate and get together in a lobby with some friends as well. So I just want to make sure people at least have that conversation. If you're not a part of a community, they're all over the place. I think if people are not a part of a community, you've chosen to not be a part of a community, because we've been preaching getting a part of a community on almost every single episode of Car Talk. And so just get connected here through our Discord, through our server. There are a number of other servers out there if you are looking to do a little bit better on this track. But again, it's just one of 3 tracks of the 6 during a tour. And so I don't see any harm or foul to producing that. So it's I don't know if you would agree with that. We haven't really talked about it, but how do you feel about battle tracks and collaborating with friends?
I hope that Nintendo see this and they think it's cheating, but they can't correct it, because it's definitely nothing like glitchy in the game, and it makes them take battle tracks out of ACR and ranked like altogether. I mean, for me, single player on battle tracks is not Mario Kart. It's horrible. And for everyone who says it's cheating, like if you actually try to grind a battle track solo, especially if you don't have coin box and get a decent action count and a well thought bonus, it's horrible. I mean, honestly, there's a reason I don't do regular ACR anymore, and it's simply because you have to deal with 4 battle tracks every ACR nowadays. I really wish they'd get rid of it. So I'm not going to blame anyone. I'm not going to call it cheating. If it's a way for you to get a quick, decent score and have to be able to forget about battle tracks being, the fact that they're unranked is even worse. Fortunately, it's not too often, so I'm fine with it. I didn't have that big of a problem with shrooming either. I didn't personally do it just because I thought it was a bit risky in terms of getting your account banned, but I didn't really have a problem with that either. So yeah, no, I absolutely don't have a problem with this, and I think people should take advantage of it, and I think they should spend as little time as possible grinding scores on battle tracks.
But Nintendo, fix your game. Take it out of all cup ranking. I think everyone would appreciate that.
Please.
I'm with you, man. But anyway, going back to it, P Piranha getting this battle track, that's huge. Sometimes with these battle tracks, we just have coin boxers on them. Almost every single one of them, except for the Battle Course 2 or whatever it is, have a coin box.
But let me tell you, so we have one other city battle track, and that's the New York one, and it's not been back a single time. So we may never see this track again, ever. So
I do feel like the New York Minute 1 battle track came back maybe once before. But either way, I'm with you. You're not going to see it very often. The other battle tracks come back every single tour. So we basically have 3 that come back And honestly, the Battle Course 1 or Battle Course 2, whatever it is, doesn't come back as often as Twilight House or as Cookie Land for whatever reason, it seems like. Again, it's kind of been...
No, it's just a regular rotation. They just basically rotate all three. The two, and then there's basically 2 of the 3 in every tour, and it's a pretty regular rotation.
But Nintendo's given us some outs, right? So, on Twilight House, we have Meowser, so we have a coin box option. For Cookie Land, you got King Mario. Oftentimes, we even had the Mii boost of the Gold Mii. So, not everyone's had to deal with this situation. But this tour specifically, you might even think about going all in on PD Mii Suit. It's been absolutely crushing it. This is a situation where it's certainly, if it hasn't been worth it, if he hasn't been on your radar, you've been either sleeping in a cave, under a rock, whatever it might be, and this might be worth it for you. Not that we'll see it very often, but I think in general, you always want to prioritize battle tracks, and Gold PD Mii has been absolutely bonkers. So definitely worth investing in, if nothing else, for this rank track. For the other drivers with 1 buff, none of the top items really got too much rank action except for Luigi Knight, who got that Berlin Byways RT, and Yoshi Kangaroo, who got the Athens Dash 2T. Just kind of finish out the list. We did get Cat Luigi got the Athens Dash RT. Cat Mario got the Athens Dash 2T. Cheap Cheap Me got the Athens Dash RT. Dr. Peach even got the Paris Promenade B. Chomp Chain got the Paris Promenade B as well. Rosalie and Volendam got the Berlin Byways RT, which has been a strong track for her. Some pretty good options there. And then I'll probably draw the line right there at the top 50. So Antilev, between those 2 slides, what's your thoughts on the rest of the drivers?
Nothing, man. You covered it.
Alrighty then, we'll get into Karts. Karts with 5 buffs. You got 4 of them. Pink Sneaker, a smaller kart, got the Athens Dash. And that's it, man. 20 assumed tracks, 14 cities for the Pink Sneaker at number 33 on our list. Gold 8-bit pipe frame, got the Athens Dash 2T. That's it. And the Sakura Sports Coupe looked pretty cool. Came out at a terrible time. Here it is with 5 city tracks. Got the Amsterdam 3. So 11 assumed, 8 cities, number 70 on our list. And the Huff and Puffin Egg got the Athens Dash 2T. I would not invest in that one bit unless you already have, because you like the Poochie items. No harm, no foul there. Karts with 4 buffs. Cremo Tanuki Kart got the Athens Dash RT. Big win there. Mumu Off-Roader, certainly a phenomenal option there on Athens Dash 2T. Got the Blooper Shuttle, getting the Athens Dash. Purple Dozer getting the Berlin Byways RT. And then the Pink Speeder getting the Paris Promenade B. So, Antilev, what's your thoughts on these top kart buffs?
We had a couple of carts that had, trying to pull it up because I lost my thing. We had a couple of carts that had 2 ranked buffs, but none of them are on this list. So this is kind of quantity over quality, I would say.
And not the quantity you necessarily want.
No, exactly. No, it's obviously disappointing to see carts like Mumu Off-Roader, Kamo Tanuki Kart, Blooper Shuttle, again, like the Yoshi Tour items, it's a rough start. Huff and Puff and Egg, starting with all those Nitro tracks and then immediately getting 5 cities on top of that. That's bad news.
All right, let's get into the carts. The rest of the carts with 4 buffs here. I'm sorry. The Gold Bruiser got the Berlin Byways RT. Rainbow Streetle got the Athens Dash 2T. Rainbow Taxi got the Amsterdam Drift 2. The Gold Lunar Cruiser got the Athens Dash 2T. Swift Talon, the Taylor Swift, got the Athens Dash. Black Sneaker got actually no ranked tracks. That's probably where I'll draw the line. What's your thoughts here, Antilev? Anything?
No, more or less same. Let's see here. Nope, even these with 4 buffs, nothing here got two ranked buffs.
All right, again, because we have all these cities, guys, we're going to go through these a little quicker than usual, but here are the carts with 3 buffs. So here's some of the ones, the fan favorites being on this list. You got the Blazing Eagle, the #1 cart in the game, 20 assumed tracks, 20 cities, split 50-50 here. Got the Athens Dash RT, the ranked track. It's good track there. There's a couple meta items on that track, but overall, pretty strong one there for the Blazing Eagle, which seems to be at its peak right now. You got the red off-roader, nothing in rank, so not necessarily great. I mean, you got 3 buffs, all 3 not in rank. That's like a worst case scenario for a new hot item like that. Blue Crawley Karts did get the Athens Dash, which is a really tough track to cover for track. So, I mean, there are 2 Mark IIs, and that's about it. I mean, it's real slim. So, this is a case where the Blue Crawley Kart coming into a city track might be worth the investment. I've even toyed with it. I've been holding back because it's been hit or miss, but this is a pretty strong tour when it comes to what else is on that top shelf. Worth investing in. Obviously, it's got one of the largest hitboxes in the game. And it looks cool too. Streetle, nothing in ranked, so it's number 12 on our list. Streetle has 25 assume tracks, 12 cities. Gold Bolt Blaster got the Athens Dash. Flaming Speeder got the Berlin Byways RT. Gugu Black got that Berlin Byways track as well. That's probably where I'll draw that line. It's like, what's your thoughts on, at least on the Blazing Eagle, Red Off-Roader, Blue Crawley Kart?
Yeah, so I think this is the one where we're still on 3 buffs. It isn't a crazy amount of cart buffs too, or a crazy amount of buffs. Yeah, like we said before, you'd rather they get a fewer amount of buffs than just get in the rank buffs. So I still don't think it's necessarily a good thing. Blazing Eagle, 20 cities. I know we had an all-city start. It was managed to overcome that. But, you know, it's carried a lot by its hitbox. And, you know, you see some of those other carts with 24, 25, 26 assumed tracks. At a certain point, those tracks were not going to be quality new super paywall tracks anymore. It might fall off. So definitely not a good sign there. Red Off-Roader, I don't know. It always seems like pretty underwhelming. I don't know. I haven't invested in both accounts, and I kind of, it's fine, and I end up using it a lot, but I'm never like super excited about it. You know, I guess it's just kind of living in the shadow of the yellow off-roader. Another Blue Crawley Kart, it's up at 10. Again, maybe it's just my personal account that it doesn't do a lot for, but I'm struggling to get excited by it.
I think I 100% agree with everything you just said, by the way. I think the Red Off-Roader, it started out with so many tracks with the yellow off-roader, and then it's just something like every time it got a buff, it got buffed right next to something else that made more sense for me to invest in, even though it's got a great hitbox. If you're a newer driver, feel free to invest in all 3 of these. These are all very large hitboxes. However, I mean, for a lot of people, these are kind of hit or miss. I mean, you think about each one has a chink in its armor. Blazing Eagle has a lot of city tracks, literally split 50-50. Red Off-Roader has a lot of overlap with the regular off-roader and the yellow off-roader. Blue Crawley Kart, brand new, and all of its buffs seem to be kind of squirrely. I think, you know, just a lot of its tracks, like in the Mario course, it got a lot of these Mario circuits that like had overlap with a lot of other stuff, and that was like the tour got the most buffs, and I don't know. It's been hit or miss. Definitely take a look at it. Don't just assume that it's great for your account. Definitely.
The thing is, we have so many carts. You know, we have so many carts. It's so difficult to make an objective ranking. It's really going to be more than the gliders and the drivers. It's going to be personal to your account what you have. So there might be, you know, I hear on carts more than any other class of item, well, this is a good item, but it's useless for me. Yeah, that absolutely can be the case, you know. You know, take the rankings as a general guide of where to start looking, maybe, but yeah, very, very carefully look at your own account.
Yeah, we'll say there's some wins for some of these super carts. These Turbo Yoshi and Birdo. The Birdo got the Berlin Byways RT, and then the Light Blue Yoshi got the Berlin Byways RT. So 2 strong supers. You gotta like when supers are there. The carts with 2 buffs. Our Shield Speedster got 2 buffs, along with this Flowery Bandwagon, and the Armored Rider, and the Ice Cream Mini Bus, and the Tuk Tuk Kart, and the Jukebox Buggy. None of them in ranked. That's right, all 6 of those did not get a ranked buff. Got 2 buffs though. And then we get to the Sky Blue Beat Dasher Mark II, which I think that was the one you were looking for.
Yeah.
This one wins. This one wins hands down out of all the cart buffs. It only got 2 buffs, both in ranked. Double feature there, so you got like that. Now, of course, it's an older card, and it's got 19 assumed tracks, 19 cities, split 50-50. But if you already had it, I mean, I had this one at 7,595, and I think I'll be using it at least on the Amsterdam Dash. I forget what I'm using on the RT. So, yeah, certainly that's the winner on this slide, if I have to call any.
Flower Kart.
Flower Karts, you're right, does have a double feature. And at the very bottom, you will see, you also have to enjoy the one buff with a rank feature, which is the Lightning Streamliner. Gain this Athens Dash RT, which is, it's got some other options, but really it's kind of that and the Golden Eagle as your best two options there. Anything else you want to add here?
Nope.
All right.
Well, I wanted to mainly highlight, those are the two cards that got, this is exactly what you want out of a city buff. What Sky Blue, D-Dash Mark II, and Flower Kart got. 2 buffs only, both in ranked. Brilliant.
Huge win there for them, that's for sure. And then a lot of cards with one buff. I'll just kind of name out the ones that are in ranked. You got the yellow 8-bit pipe frame, a tiny little cart, got that rank buff. Prop Kart got the Promenade B, the battle track, along with Cupid's Arrow. I will say Cupid's Arrow, if you have not invested in it, certainly double feature and ranked, and it's a nice big hitbox. There are not a lot of big hitboxes on this track. That's a big one there for the Cupid's Arrow. 25 assumed tracks, 11 cities, got a nice wide hitbox, and apparently can get coins that kind of are just barely outside of its hitbox. That's the word on the street. Cream B-Dash Mark II. Not quite as good as the Sky Blue, but certainly a big winner here with the Athens Dash as a ranked track. That's probably where I'm drawing the line, right there at 60 on our list. But anything you want to add there, Antilev?
Not at all.
Let's get to gliders then. We got 5 gliders with 5 buffs. The 5x5s. We'll start with the yellow hard hat balloons, which, as you knew, was number 1 on our list last tour. It got 5 buffs, only 1 in rank though, and that's the Athens Dash RT. A couple options on that track compared to the other Athens Dash, which seemed to be a little bit thinner of a top shelf. Then you have the Fuzzy Kite, got the Berlin Byways RT, and that's the only ranked track. I'm actually not a big fan of the Fuzzy Kite. I know there's a Fuzzy Kite fan club, and totally, I think, whether it's the Green Sprout or other items, I know, Antilev, you've been the commissioner of the Fuzzy Kite fan club. I'm not a big fan though, to be honest with you. It's gone like 3 tours with some weird buffs. This tour, probably the weirdest of them all, the Berlin Byways RT. Of all the new tracks, this is the one I wouldn't necessarily want. And then you got 4 other cities mixed in there. I don't know, man. How are you feeling about the Fuzzy Kite?
It's been good. It's been in rank. The last 2 tours, it hasn't got the greatest buffs. It got, I think, a ranked buff, but not a new track. But the last 2 tours are not really the tours where you need to get buffs, Nitro and City tracks. So, and before that, it's been doing great. So I'm happy with it.
Okay. Let's just call it a truce and say it's above average. It is in our top 20. So for what it's worth, if you have to invest in it and you like the look, go for it. What's weird is that I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is a baddie. This is a baddie glider. Sometimes there's like good items that like are kind of tied in with good items, like good guys like Mario and Luigi. And the other bad ones, they're kind of tied in with Bowser. To me, it kind of looked like a baddie because it just looked like kind of looked like a bad one. But it's actually a gooder one. It's kind of more tied in with some of the gooder track. They're
not like super consistent with that stuff, anyways. Though there's like some carts are like evil carts, and then like a color swap of it will be like a good cart. So like I think But oftentimes you can tell where it's at when you're scrolling down, and if it's like halfway down, then it's like on the good side, and yeah, exactly.
And then you look at the tracks.
Just saying they're not consistent with it.
Oh yeah. It's probably only holding true like 60 or 70% of the time, if that. So yeah, certainly. I just was surprised. I thought it was like, oh man, I'm sure it's got some Bowser's Castle, it's got some other stuff in there. Nope, it's actually got a lot of ties in with like a Luigi Raceway or Mario Circuit, and I don't know, some interesting stuff there. Chocolate Pretzel, absolutely terrible. All 5 of its very copious amount of buffs, none in ranked. So bad one there for the Chocolate Pretzel, number 48 on our list. Yoshi's Cookie, a brand new course, again coming out of a Nitro tour into a city tour, a tough one here. The Athens Dash 2 T is in ranked, but that's it. And then we have the Smiley Flower Glider. Number 98 on our list, got the Amsterdam Drift 2. So it is only in ranked once. It's on the one track that is reoccurring from previous tours. So big loss so far for the Smiley Flower. Let's hopefully turn that frown upside down next tour. Give us some good tracks for the Smiley Flower. Let's get into gliders with 4 buffs. We got the wonderful Garnet. A double feature in ranked. Got the Athens Dash 2T and the Paris Promenade B. So this is one where a good glider is actually walking away. I'm feeling pretty good. So I'd say that one much, much better than, say, this Black Star Shoot, which is number 9 on our list, but it does not have anything in ranked. So certainly not great there. In fact, it's got Berlin Byways, London Loop RT, and London Loop 2R. So some goofy tracks there for the Black Star Shoot. It does get this Athens Dash 2, which you kind of like. Wonderful Diamond. It did get this Athens Dash 2T, and that's it. Mario's Half Balloon got the Athens Dash. Happy about that. Now that Parachute got the Amsterdam Drift 2. Could have been worse, could have been better as compared to this Festive Holly, which has been absolute garbage. I honestly I've never been a fan of this Festive Holly. It gets 4 buffs and none of them are ranked. I don't know. I've never been happy. Every time I talk about it, I'm like, please give me something good to talk about. And it's very
it's another All-City starter, isn't it?
Well, I think it came out
the same
during the
tour
holiday tour. Like maybe Nitros, maybe an all Nitro start.
Oh yeah, okay.
Either way, I'm not a big fan of some of the seasonal items that are too deeply tied into seasonal. Same thing with these Autumn Leaves has been absolutely terrible as well, in my opinion. Gold Can Life Light did get the Amsterdam Drift 2. Silver Luigi's Mustache did get the Berlin Byways RT. And then that's probably where I'll draw the line. But Antilev, what's your thoughts on these gliders with 4 buffs?
Yeah, so I think I noticed a lot of the gliders that you are talking about here, that you're complaining about. I'm not impressed with it. I'm not impressed with that. Like everybody says, oh, well, what about Blazing Eagle? But these items like Festive Holly, Autumn Leaves, Chocolate Pretzels, and All City Start on the first page. I think the golden, maybe it was the golden bells or whatever, something like that. But there's so many items that did come out in All City tours, and they've completely disappeared. I mean, if you invested in them, you completely wasted your tickets. Blazing Eagle is the one exception, but it took quite a while for people to realize how good it was. Other than that, no, not really. I think we had, one glider with 2 buffs, and that's the wonderful Garnet with 2 ranked buffs. I'm not even sure. Is that on this slide?
Yeah, it's the number one. It's the number one. We were at the very top.
Oh yeah, right at the top there. Yeah, so that's the big winner of the gliders, and everything else is kind of a little bit of whatever.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. The thing is, again, you have to go back to the Blazing Eagle was a commemorative item, and so these commemorative items seem to, maybe that's like the one way to break the curse, is be a commemorative item. Hopefully this Blue Crawley does the same thing too. Now I personally invest in this 8-bit block glider over the Goomba. I'm not sure which one do you think seems to be winning here. This one's tough. You got the Athens Dash RT, which is actually, for a glider, one of the tougher ones to cover. I think I have that and the Calico Toe Beam balloons. That's kind of the top 2 options, but that's a really thin top shelf for glider specifically. What's your thoughts between the 8-bit block and the 8-bit Goomba?
So I went in on the Goomba early because I needed it for ranked, but they're all, none of them are really doing that great yet. They've had kind of a tough go of it with these tours after them coming out. The highest rated one is the 8-bit Goomba, but it's sitting at 66. 8-bit block is sitting at 77. And then, we got the other 8-bit.
Super glider.
They're none of them impressed so far. Let's put it that way.
We'll see what happens. The old school 8-bit seem to be crushing the new school. Let's talk about the other gliders with 3 buffs. Obviously, 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, huge winner here. We thought this guy was gonna start tailing off. He is not. He is not dead yet. Definitely pick yourself up the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom. 28 assumed tracks, 14 cities. That's pretty insane there. He obviously has the Athens Dash track this tour. Phenomenal for him. You got the Boom Mask getting the Athens Dash RT. Again, we talked about this one being a little tougher to cover. Minty Berry Balloons got the Berlin Byways RT. Fire Manta Glider, been really slowly climbing. And this is one that came out in one of the special pipes. And I kept saying I really like it. It's been coming on of late. But here it is, finally breaking the top 15, and it got the Athens Dash. Gold hard hat. If this tour, there's no better way to describe how this gold hard hat has been treated than what you see right here on the screen, which is 3 buffs, none in ranked. This gold hard hat has been lagging behind, which is baffling the entire community because it was released as the first time ever as a premium item exclusive for $20, along with a bunch of other items. And here it is, just goofing off, man. Like, look at this, three buffs. Now, of course, 2 of which are Athens, for what it's worth. 1 London Loop. I don't know, man. I'm starting to lose hope. I was starting to gain some hope last tour because it wasn't ranked, but this tour, man, this one's making me double think that. Got the red and gold umbrella with the Berlin Byways RT. The Calico Toby and Balloons. I think this one's sneaky. Definitely. I think you should look it up in your account. You can use it next week in the Athens Dash RT. Then you have some other options. Flying Flappers with the Athens Dash 2T. Luigi's Hat with the RT. And the Rainbow Flare Flyer with Athens Dash. And that's probably where I'll draw the line. And so what's your thoughts on the gliders with 3 buffs? Anything you want to add?
No, I mean, like I said, like it's a lot of it's funny because the Fireman, I haven't invested on both accounts, and it's kind of just been a good supplemental glider. It has never been as like a superstar, but it's been like really useful. So I don't know. But yeah, no, not really. Like I think you touched on like what's getting in ranked and what's not. So that's basically what there is.
I'll keep it easy on the bottom of the slide. There's only one of these 4 gliders with 2 buffs that is in ranked, and that's the Lava Rocks getting the Athens Dash RT. That one's 28 assumed tracks, 12 cities. Number 6 on our list. Not a bad one there. Piranha Plant somehow did not get in ranked. For the rest of the gliders with 2 buffs and 1 buff, nothing else really necessarily notable. Secret Skull's fallen quite a bit. Nothing in rank there. Nabbit Oil Paper Umbrella, for as old as it is, it's been kind of sneaky recently. Gliders with 1 buff. Again, I'll kind of just call off the efficient ones. Sakura Origami Glider, huge winner there, as we talked about. 29 assumed tracks, 15 cities and nitros. It does have this Athens Dash 2T, which was an obvious investment for me to take it up to 715. Highly recommend looking at that. I mean, it's 29 assumed tracks. Where else can you find that? It's not very common that you'd see that. I will say Record Setter, it does have 31 assumed tracks, but here it is, not in ranked. So keep that in the back of your mind. You have the Tulip Corsage with Athens Dash RT, 8-Bit Super Mushroom with Athens Dash, Wonderful Wings, a huge winner here for Paris Promenade B. That's the clear-cut one I'm using here. Pink Gold Meteors with Paris Promenade B. That's a strong meta one too. A lot of people invested in. Pretzel Glider got the Berlin Byways RT. Glittering Parasol got the Battle Track as well. A lot of people had that invested in. And then Cat Parafoil, Athens Dash 2T. And Rose Parasol, one of your favorite gliders, got the Paris Promenade B. Probably what you're using there. So what's your thoughts on the rest of the gliders? Anything you want to add?
No, not really.
Again, we're talking about gliders with 1 buff during a city tour, so hopefully you don't have too much to discuss. Yeah. We do have the top 10, so every tour sometimes we make tweaks, sometimes we don't. Any tweaks you made here, Antilev?
No, we didn't change anything in the model this tour. Actually, no reason to.
No reason to with a city buff. So you'll notice.
One thing I will mention is that the weightings change a little bit. Sorry to interrupt you. The weightings change a little bit. So items that are more city heavy would get like a slight increase, just because cities go from like a weight of 2% to 3% or something like that. And like normal retro tracks go down a little bit. It's a slight thing, but I mean, if you see items going up or down 1 spot, it's probably because of that.
Okay. All right, we'll try to wrap this up in the next 15 to 20 minutes here, but I would say all of these items, not too much movement. Most of because everyone's added a nitro track, nothing's really much touching base with the assumed tracks. Everything should be probably staying the same, minus or plus based on being in ranked. So later Wintertime, despite being in ranked, did fall 2 spots, 24 assumed tracks, 13 nitro. Still, surprisingly, 61 tracks left to see, which is a good amount here. probably because he just came out of a Nitro tour and then a City tour. So not a lot of older tracks being brought back and reintroduced for him to see. But he's got some good pairings, both of these two pairings. So let me talk about what each slide is representing. So in the top 10, whether it's drivers, karts, and gliders, a couple things you're going to look at. On the right, you see 24 assumed tracks. These are the tracks that are going to come back every tour that we can kind of see throughout the year. So if you're going for all cup ranking, this is a very important number to look at. There are some Nitro tracks which are going to come at a lesser rate between cities and Nitros. And then 61 tracks left to see, meaning that if an item has not seen a track, then when that track is reintroduced into the game, this driver, kart, or glider, when they see it, they will either get it or not, and that's it. That's their one chance to get the track. So we try to keep this number very prominently positioned here on the slide, because that does give you some future value potential to take into consideration when looking at a tie between two items that you're kind of evaluating. And then below that, you'll see the tracks that it has, along with the top shelf drivers, karts, and gliders. So for drivers, we just include top skills, and that's really important when you're looking at other drivers. So you'll see with Larry Wintertime, he's got some of these tracks with a lot of drivers, and then he's got probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 with 3 or less of those tracks. And so those are the tracks where he's going to have the most value. And so it's kind of like it gives you a visual as to kind of where his value is on the spectrum. It kind of gives you a quick glance by on his value there. And then for pairings, so there are 2 different pairings. So these are think about them as rows. So you have Gold Yoshi Gold Egg something, Meowser, and PD Piranha. Those 3 drivers, in addition to Larry Wintertime, would cover 97 of the 284 assumed tracks, meaning that of the tracks that will come back potentially even next tour, these are 3 other drivers that you can invest in to cover basically a third of the assumed tracks. That's pretty helpful. Now, in addition to that pairing, there's also a separate pairing that you could pair with Larry Wintertime, Daisy Tie Dress, Mario Samurai, White Tanuki Mario, that could also cover those 97 of the 284 tracks. So all of this that you see with the pairings are brought to you by a Turtle Dudes Coverage Optimizer. I highly recommend that tool. Link is in the description, where you can plug in your own item that you want to take a look at, and then maybe some other items that you've invested in, and see which items it could kind of fill those gaps for you. Really quick and dirty way to look at what your account, what might be worth investing in. But pairings would, if you have invested in, say, Meowser, which a lot of people did, and maybe Gold Yoshi something, then hey, maybe it's worth me investing in PD Piranha. Maybe that would be really good with Larry Wintertime. So gives you a good idea of what to invest in. And then on the flip side, we have top skill overlap. So if you have invested in, say, PD Piranha Gold or Daisy Tie Dress or Rosalina Chef, then you may not want to invest in Larry Wintertime because they overlap the most with him. Now, 4 overlaps with Daisy Tie Dress out of Larry Wintertime's 24 assumed tracks and 13 Nitro is not a lot. Now, Chef Rosalina 6, that's probably where you're starting to wonder, maybe I shouldn't invest in him if I've already invested pretty heavily into Rosalina Chef. So when you see a lot of not popular items here in the skill overlap, it's usually a safe sign to maybe invest in this driver. So that's kind of the summary of what this slide represents. Let's get into number 9, which is Toad Astronaut. As you can see there, 21 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro. Still a good amount of tracks left to see, 78 total. Again, he's pretty new, so that's no surprise there. He's got some good pairings covering 100 of the 284 tracks. So literally almost over a third of the tracks that are assumed that are coming back every tour, Toad Astronaut will cover with these 2 pairings. He does overlap 4 times with Larry, Lakitu Party Time and Mario Style of View. So 2 things you're not necessarily scared about when you think about Lucky 7 compared to Boomerang. Meowser, he's up 1 spot to number 8, 30 assumed tracks, 4 Nitro. He's seen every track in the game except for Bowser's Castle 2 RT. Then his pairings cover 105 of those 284 tracks. And then he overlaps 7 times with Mario Samurai, 6 times with Kamek, and 5 times with Gold Mii Racing Suit. As for number 7 on our list, Yoshi Gold Egg Gold Something. He has fallen down 1 spot to number 7. He has 31 assumed tracks, 12 Nitro, 4 tracks left to see. One good pairing with PD Piranha, Meowser, and Daisy Tidress, covering 105 of the 284 tracks. His overlap, though, is a little concerning. You'll notice a lot of Coinbox Driver overlap there with him. 7 overlap with Gold Mii Racing Suit, arguably the best item in the game. 7 with Rosalina Volendam. 6 times with Luigi Knight and Gold Charging Chuck and Daisy Tidress. 5 times overlap with PD Piranha Gold. So a lot of overlap. That's this big issue with Gold Yoshi Gold something. Number 6, we got PD Piranha Gold. He did go up 1 spot. 25 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro, 26 tracks left to see. And so I would love to hear for you how he went up 1 spot. But 2 pairings, both that include White Tanuki Mario and Daisy Tidress, one of which with Meowser, interchanged with Mario Samurai. As you know, they both overlap with each other quite a lot. And these 2 pairings would cover 101 of the 284 tracks. It does overlap 6 times with Pink Shy Guy, 5 times with Gold Yoshi Gold something.
I found this on the web. For its 31 assumed tracks, 12 Nitro for trucks up to see when comparing.
Whoops, sorry about that.
Because you're in Daisy Tidress coming 105 of the 200.
Come on, Siri, stop.
Tracks. Is it like those
Siri.
concerning you notice a lot of Coinbox Driver?
Sorry, guys.
Overlap there with him. 7 overlap. Gold Mii Racing Suit arguably
Dude.
the best item in the game. 7 with Rosalina Von
Siri,
6 times
stop.
with Luigi Knight.
Let's have her do the rundown.
And Daisy
Siri,
Tidress
please
also
stop.
overlap with PD Piranha.
Siri.
Go to Lotto Buy. Texas big issue with Gold.
Siri will not shut up. My apologies, guys, there. I don't know where I said her name, but I won't try not to do that again. PD Piranha Mii Suit, 21 assumed tracks, 10 Nitro, 8 tracks left to see. Again, for a Mii Suit, 21 assumed tracks, 10 Nitro is pretty good. He's got some good pairings, covering 100 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap 7 times with his non-Mii counterpart, and 4 times with Gold Yoshi, Gold Egg something. At number 4, question mark Block Mii Racing Suit, 27 assumed tracks, 8 Nitro. It's been a while since we've seen him on top of his game, but he's got 4 tracks left to see. A good pairing covering 104 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with Mario Saddle of You and 4 times with Daisy Tidress and Bowser Santa. You're not scared about that at all. That's one of his big pluses is his lack of overlap. Daisy Tidress, 33 assumed tracks, 16 Nitro, 8 tracks left to see. She's got a great pairing. So if you paired her with Gold Charging Chuck, Mario Samurai, and White Tanuki Mario, you could cover 107 of the 284 tracks. That's phenomenal there. The downside, though, to her is she's starting to overlap a lot with the Gold Mii Racing Suit. She's got 7 overlaps with him, as well as also Yoshi Kangaroo. Kind of alarming there. Number 2 on our list, Gold Charging Chuck, 29 assumed tracks, 16 Nitro, still 8 tracks up to see. He pairs really well with Daisy Tidress, Mario Samurai, White Tanuki Mario, covering 107 of the 284 tracks. He does overlap with his non-gold variation of Charging Chuck, and also Gold Egg, Gold something, Yoshi in there somewhere, and then 4 times with Meowser. And then our number 1 item in the game, really, it's not just driver, but item in the game, the Gold Mii Racing Suit with a whopping 29 assumed tracks, 16 Nitro, and every single one of his 29 assumed tracks, he is by far your best option. You want to get to tier 80, you want to get him, you want to level him up all immediately, all as ASAP. He's got 2 good pairings covering 101 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap though 7 times with Gold Egg, Yoshi Gold something, and 6 times with Peach Happy. So there's our top 10. Obviously no movement there to our top 5. Then minimal movement from there. Obviously, Gold Mii Racing Suit, a whopping 6-point lead on the raw score over the Gold Charging Chuck. And then Gold Charging Chuck's got a 5-point lead over Daisy Tidress. So, there's a big drop-off even from Gold or question mark Block at 85 points on that raw score to 77 with the PD Piranha. So definitely there's kind of the cream of the crop, the top 4, really just kind of the top 1 or 2. And then kind of everybody else. To round out the top 15, we do have Hammer Bro Mii Racing Suit at 11, White Tanuki Mario at 12, PD Piranha at 13, Rocky Wrench Mii Racing Suit at 14, and Luigi Knight at 15. Antilev, what's your thoughts on our top 10 drivers?
So you asked why PD Piranha Gold went up 1 spot over Yoshi Gold Egg. I mean, look at the scores there. It's basically just noise. There's no reason for it. It's just, it can be a combination of any things seasoning, they're getting the weighting of the track types. I haven't looked into it, but it's really, this is why we put the raw scores there, because the rankings themselves don't necessarily say anything. But yeah, other than that, you can see that that there's not a lot happening, which is just pretty normal for a city tour. Again, look at Toad Astronaut and Larry Wintertime, how close they are on raw score. So that's more important than the ranking, I would say.
100% with you there, man. Let's get into Karts. Obviously, we got the Blue Crawley Karts we've talked about being at number 10. It's down one spot. 17 assumed tracks, 7 nitro. Still really, really young in its Mario Kart Tour career. 110 tracks left to see. Again, showing off that how new it is. It does have some good pairings, covering 95 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap, though, 5 times with the Shielded Speedster, 5 times with the Streetle. So maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't invested in it when you look at the Shielded Speedster, but one that we've both invested in pretty heavily. Now you have the Armored Rider, 27 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, 1 track left to see. Some good pairings covering 104 of the 284 tracks. You're starting to see the Gold Bruiser as a good pairing. It's kind of interesting, worth noting there. And then when you look at the Kart overlap, this is why the Armored Rider is so strong. None of those are in really the meta per se. And again, we're talking about 7, 6, and 5 overlap there with a Kart that has 27 assumed tracks, 9 nitro. Pretty strong there. Now the Yellow Off-Roader, for some, it still might be worth investing in. 32 assumed tracks, only 5 nitro. I'm shocked every time I read that. When you look at the Kart pairings, again, we see a lot of Gold Bruiser there. Some Armored Rider covering 104 of the 284 tracks. 7 overlap, though, with the Tanuki Kart and the Choco Macaroon. At number 7, we got the Flowery Badwagon, falling down 2 spots. 26 assumed tracks, 12 nitro. Some good pairings for 103 of the 284 tracks. 6 with the 2. Again, this is the huge value of the Flowery Badwagon. Although it's not a big kart, it doesn't overlap with big karts. A lot of the ones that overlaps with are smaller karts in general. And then when you look on the right and look at all those tracks, there's not many with more than 5 overlaps. It's just maybe one that has more than 5. So pretty strong kart in general. It's one that I've paired really well with some of my karts. Then we have our Shield Speedster up 1 spot, 26 assumed tracks, 11 nitro, 11 tracks left to see. Good pairing with the Armored Rider, the Yellow Off-Roader, and the Ice Cream Minibus with 102 of the 284 tracks. Those overlap 6 times with the Red Off-Roader and the Piranha Pipes. 5 times with the Green Cat Cruiser and the Blue Crawley Kart. And then we have number 5, this Red Off-Roader, 25 assumed tracks, 13 nitro. Antilev, you'll have to tell us why it went up 1 spot. 8 tracks left to see. It does overlap with the, when you're thinking about a pairing, the Ice Cream Minibus, Armored Rider, Yellow Off-Roader covering 98 of the 284 tracks. Again, you're going to see this as a common trend. Yellow Off-Roader, Armored Rider, even the Minibus, going to pair a lot with a variety of items. Thinking about the Red Off-Roader, it does overlap 7 times with the Lightning Streamliner, 6 times with the Shield Speedster. So for us, again, maybe that's why we've been having so much issue. Those are 2 that we've both invested in. And then you have number 5 overlaps with the Gold Bullet Blaster and the Pink Speeder. 2 popular items right now that are doing really well in the meta. Moo Off-Roader, 25 assumed tracks, 9 nitro. Still 38 tracks left to see, which is surprisingly high. Some good pairings there that include the Gold Bruiser. I might have to look into this Gold Bruiser, man. And the Yellow Off-Roader, both in both of those pairings, covering 101 of the 284 tracks. Again, when you look at the overlap, though, this Moo Off-Roader, the reason it's so valuable, you see 3 small karts that it overlaps with the most. That is a good sign for the Moo Off-Roader. Safe investment for most players. The Camo Tanuki Kart, 26 assumed tracks, 11 nitro, 38 tracks left to see. Pretty efficient karts. I will say, when I'm looking at the all these tracks on the far right, there's just a lot with a number of options, especially towards the unlocks. You see level 3 unlocks, level 6 unlocks, level 8 unlocks. Just a lot of karts, a lot of options with more than 5. That's kind of where I'm drawing the line. If it has more than 5, you got a good selection, a good variety. The good thing about it, though, when you look at kart overlap, a lot of smaller karts. Only the Cact B is alarming when it comes to the hitbox size. Then Blooper Shuttle at 2, 24 assumed tracks, 9 nitro, still a whopping 78 tracks left to see. So good pairings. Here's the Ice Cream Minibus, Yellow Off-Roader, and Gold Bruiser again, covering 100 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap with 6 times with the Rainbow Taxi, and 5 times with the Lunar Cruiser. Obviously makes sense for both of those. Those are kind of Rainbow Road-ish karts, space karts, etc. Then number 1 kart in the game, no surprise here, 20 assumed tracks, 20 nitro. It's a lot of nitro tracks there. But 38 tracks left to see. This is our Blazing Eagle. Some good pairings there, covering 98 of the 284 tracks. Those overlap 5 times with the Red Off-Roader, 4 times with the Gold Bullet Blaster, and 3 times with the Camo Tanuki Kart. So I think what we were talking about earlier when it came to the Red Off-Roader, this is why a lot of Shield Speedster, a lot of Blazing Eagle, a lot of Lightning Streamliner overlap with this Red Off-Roader. So that's probably why we're having so much heartache with it. Now, when we're talking about raw score, there's kind of a 1A, 1B. That's the Blazing Eagle, Blooper Shuttle right there, neck and neck. Camo Tanuki not too far away at 95 on that raw score. Moon Off-Roader just below that at 93. Red Off-Roader not far behind that. Everything's pretty tightly knit between all these karts. We got purple, and that's going to happen with karts just because of how many karts we have. But I remember last year with the Yellow Off-Roader, man, it was a mile gap between the Yellow Off-Roader and all these other items. So this one, maybe the Blazing Eagle isn't as crushing it as the Yellow Off-Roader was last year.
Not as dominant, no.
Not as dominant. So we could see it falling off. It's not as like absolutely obliterating its competition. To round out the top 15 though, we got the Purple Dozer at 11, which has been kind of meandering in this 11 to 15 range. We got Streetle at 12, Lightning Streamliner at 13, Gold Bullet Blaster at 14, and Pink Speeder at 15. What's your thoughts on the karts, Antilev?
Yeah, once again, like you see how close the ones that actually moved are Shield Speedster, Flowery Badwagon. There's really not that much between them, and again, no movement at the top. Honestly, not a lot to say. This is kind of a holding pattern tour. So I think we get a big shakeup next tour, but for now, not a whole lot.
Yeah, and you have a prediction for next tour. What is that?
Well, I think it's going to be it is going to be some kind of villain-based tour. Got the 4 Koopaling
villains
been previewed. I hope it's a Bowser tour. I hope we get another Bowser tour. I love Bowser tour, but if it's anything villain-based, maybe we'll get a new Bowser's Castle track. I think we'll get some Bowser's Castle tracks coming back. Maybe we'll get Bowser's Castle's 2RT, which
I was gonna say, yeah,
since the Trick Tour in October of 2021. No. Yeah. The longest track, by far the track we haven't seen the longest in the game. And so I'm actually really excited for that one.
I could see another Bowser tour. We kind of had a Bowser tour in, June or so of last year. So we're coming up on it. It'll be interesting to see. So starting at number 10, up 2 spots is the Boom Ass. Back in our top 10, 25 assumed tracks, 14 nitro, 11 tracks left to see. Some good pairings covering 105 of the 284 tracks. Those overlap 8 times with the Black Star Shoot, 7 times with the Lava Rocks, and then 5 times with the 8-bit 1-up Mushroom. Those 3 are alarming, so just want to put that out there. Those are 3 meta-level gliders that you may or may not have invested in already. Talking about the Black Star Shoot, it fell 1 spot to number 9, 25 assumed tracks, 14 nitro, still 8 tracks left to see. So good pairings that include the 8-bit Fire Flower and the Record Setter, covering 102 of the 284 tracks. Those overlap, as we kind of discussed earlier, Boom Ass 8 times, Flyberry Book 7 times. Wonderful Garnet up 2 spots to number 8, 22 assumed tracks, 16 nitro, still 48 6 tracks left to see, which is pretty good for something, 4 months old. We do have some good pairings that include the Record Setter that cover 99 of the 284 tracks. Those overlap 6 times with the 8-bit Super Mushroom and the Pink Magnifying Glass. Then we have the Icy's Mario Mustache at 7, 24 assumed tracks, 17 nitro, 8 tracks left to see. Some good pairings that include some 8-bit items, 104 of the 284 tracks. Those overlap with the Record Setter 7 times and 5 times with the White Waves Origami Glider. At number 6, Lava Rocks, 28 assumed tracks, 12 nitro, still 8 tracks left to see. Some good pairings, just one pairing there with 106 of the 284 tracks. That's pretty good. Those overlap with some baddie items, the Flyberry Book and Boom Mask 7 times, Black Star Shoot 6 times. Record Setter, 31 tracks left to see, 13 nitro, 1 track left to see. 31 assumed tracks, 13 nitro, 1 track left to see. Some good pairings include the 8-bit Super Mushroom, 107 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap is a big concern. Wonderful Wings, 8 times. Icy Mario Mustache, 7 times. And Glittering Parasol, I believe, 6 times. Piranha Plant Balloons, 31 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro, 8 tracks left to see. Some good pairings there that both include the 8-bit Super Mushroom and the Record Setter, one with the Black Raid Sail and the 8-bit Bull Bill. These are some meta level items worth taking a look at. The biggest concern though, guys, overlaps 7 times with the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom. That is a concern. Although it has 31 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro, 7 with the #1 glider in the game is a little bit concerning. 6 times with the Candlelight Flight, which had its time over last year as well. Secure Origami Glider, 29 assumed tracks, 15 Nitro, 1 track left to see. So good pairings, covering 107 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap with the Candlelight Flight 7 times, Mario's Hat Balloons 7 times as well, and then 5 times with the Black Star Shoot and Silver Luigi's Mustache. Number 2, the Yellow Hard Hat fell from our #1 spot to number 2. 23 assumed tracks, 11 Nitro. 23 assumed tracks for a really new item. Still 75 tracks left to see. Is phenomenal for the Yellow Hard Hat Balloon. Does overlap, it's pairing with the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom. That's a huge plus. Plus the 8-bit Super Mushroom and the Golden Wings. These are some meta level items. 101 of the 284 tracks. Does overlap 6 times with the Silver Candlelight Flight. I don't think anyone's too concerned about that. And some other items that really haven't hit our meta quite yet, except for maybe this Fuzzy Kite, which has been kind of in and out of the top 15. And then number 1, no surprise here, guys, the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, 28 assumed tracks, 14 Nitro. Some good pairings here as well. Not too concerned about the glider overlap, except for this Piranha Pipe Balloons. So when we look at the top 10, it is neck and neck with the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom, Yellow Hard Hat Balloon, and the Sakura Origami. Really, even the Piranha Plant Balloons not too far away as well. Pretty tight. I would say that when we're looking at all these top 10s, rarely do we see it this tight across the board for all 3 of these items, drivers, carts, and gliders. But to round out the top 15, we got Green Cat Parafoil 11, Wonderful Diamond at 12, Mario's Hat Balloon at 13, Minta Berry Balloons at 14, Fire Manta Glider at 15. Antilev, what's your thoughts on the top 15 gliders?
Yeah, so I think to your point about the ratings being really tight, I think Nintendo has gotten a lot smarter about how they do buffing. I don't know if we'll ever see a yellow off-roader level item. I mean, we might, but I think they've gotten much more. You notice a lot of these items that we think about as like super dominant items that are kind of older. None of the newer items are really hitting those high heights anymore. I think Nintendo is spreading it around more.
Yeah, I mean, there was a while there where it was looking like pretty no-brainer for some of these items, but yeah, they've been
making it harder. Yeah,
they've been keeping neck and neck. I will say this 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom has been pretty clutch for a lot of people. But again,
that's almost a year old now, so
that's crazy. We did predict it would be a top glider in 2023 in our survey. So shout out to you, the fans. So if you have not yet liked the video, if you haven't, please do that, or comment. Let us know. That does help us get this video in front of more people. Now let's wrap up the episode with top movers and shakers. So Rosalina Chef, again, not too many movers. Like usually we see something jumping up 20, 30 spots. Because it's a city tour, we don't have anything moving up more than 11 spots, and that's for Karts. The most anything moved when it comes to drivers are the 7. That's with Rosalina Chef. Luigi Vacation, because of his ranked buff, moved up 6 spots. But he's still number 66. So nothing too crazy. I will say the Ice Cream Meme Racing Suit did go up 5 spots to 32. And that's about it. When it comes to moving movers and shakers with the Karts, Roaring Racer went up 11 spots to 81. The Gold Jingle Bell went up 10 spots to 78. And that's about it. Nothing really here is worth noting. Yeah, I'm looking through all these carts and none of them are really meta level. Then we got most improved gliders. You got the Gold Cloud Balloons, 9 spots to number 36. Tropical Balloons, they go up 5 spots to 22. That's really the only one of note. Anything you want to add here in the movers and shakers?
No, not really. Some people asked, why did why items went up and down. And basically, again, the drivers, a little bit the ranked buffs. But I mean, a new ranked buff is worth about 1/10 on a city track as it is on a retro, 1/7 to 1/10 the amount. So that's why you see also the numbers here are not eye-popping. The amount that we're moving is not eye-popping. They're very tame.
All right, let's get into ranked and then all cup ranking. So for ranked, nothing unlocked week 1. So across the board, nothing can be taken to level 3, 6, or 9 to reveal its new coverage, but there are some options for week 2. So in Berlin Byways RT, you have Toad Tourist at level 6, Cream Classic at level 6, and Bronze Cucumber at level 6. They're talking about the Bronze Cucumber coming out next week as well. Amsterdam Drift 2, you get the Silver Flowery Kart level 6, Sweet Ride level 6. Yeah, that's so funny that they had the Bronze Cucumber, just thinking about that. You won't even have access to it.
So annoying.
So dumb.
I hate it. That's the one thing I hate most about doing different week 1, week 2 rewards.
Yeah, so maybe you could use it next tour. Amsterdam Drift 2, no drivers unlocked, but you have 2 carts. You got the Silver Flower Cart and Sweet Ride with a level 6 and level 8 unlocked respectively. And then Tulip Corsage, level 6, and then White Waves Origami Glider, level 8. Then Athens-RT, you got the gold paint stir, that gold gift we talked about, level 8. Huge investment if you want to take it all the way up. Again, would not advise this. And then Golden Glider, level 8 unlock as well. So anything you want to mention about ranked?
No, I mean, like we talked about the items that are in there multiple times or something already, so.
Yeah, Toad Tourist 4 times thanks to that level 6 unlock.
Yeah.
And then just double features, and that's it. Nothing really noticeable. Volendamm's used twice. You like that. Santa Me is used twice, and Yellow Me Racing Suit twice. So I think those last 3 are pretty strong. For carts, you got the Cream Classic. You can use 4 times thanks to that level 6 unlock. So if you need a cheap way to get something at level 3, pretty good option there. Silver Flowery Cart used 3 times thanks to that level 6 unlock. Cupid's Arrow, though, really strong one. I would advise investing in this. It's a safe investment. Even though it's old, it's got a big hitbox and will help you out there. Zakon Rocket used twice, Flowery Cart twice, Grey Cat Cruiser twice, Jumbo Jetter, Sky Blue B-Dash Mark II, thanks to those 2 buffs used twice, and then Gold Paint Stir. Now for All Cup ranking, this is for those who want to zig while everyone else is zagging. This is a great tour to do that. These are probably the lowest bar to get top 100, top 10, because everyone is a little scared to invest in these items. So if you want to go all in on Toad Tourist and go for top 10, he's used on 13 tracks. And it's 13 fun tracks because he's Giant Banana. Now again, you have to look at the me track, the Mii's, and on each one of those tracks because he might be overshadowed by those. Otherwise, you got Rosalina Chef 9 times, Luigi Painter 8 times, Rosalina Volendamm 8 times. They're kind of looking to see which ones would be meta level worthy. Gold Me Racing Suit 6 times, Kamek 6. Peach Vacation 6, Santa Me 6, and then Mario King 6 times as well. Looking to carts, Cream Classic 13 times. So again, this would be a good one to invest in if you're only going for outcome ranking. That's all you care about. Because right off the gate for $13, you already have level 3. So kind of already making some dent there. Jumbo Jet 11 times, Flowery Cart 10, Silver Flowery Cart, and Gold Paint Star also 10. Iron Cucumber, Bronze Cucumber 9 times, and then 8 times for White Fast Frank, and then you got a lot at 7. Then for gliders, Tulip Corsage and Golden Glider 11 times, Gold Tulips 9 times, Candlelight Flight, Cake 8 times, and then a number there at 7. So what's your thoughts here on Antilev for an All Cup ranking? Anything that sticks out?
13, because we don't have spotlight boosts anymore. 13 is a lot of tracks, especially when there's only 3 tracks in the tour that are doubled. The 2 battle tracks and I think Athens RT. So 13 is a lot of tracks. You're gonna have a big advantage if you decide on one of those 13 track items.
Yeah, so for $12 compared to if you wanted to do the same thing with Toad Taurus, it's gonna especially with tickets the way as rare as they are. I'm thinking for someone who wants to zig while everyone else is zagging, great option there. So there you go, guys. That concludes our episode. We got through it, man. As we were talking about this episode, we're like, man, we got an all-city tour. This is going to be tough, but we made it through. We had some fun along the way. Anything that sticks out to you for those who are preparing for this tour?
Just enjoy it. I mean, it's all city tour. We got some great tracks. Like, I'm just enjoying racing. I'm not investing anything. I'm just having fun. I mean, Athens is a great track. It is a great track. It's just fun to drive. So yeah, just enjoy it.
Yeah, I love Athens. I think it's one of the only. It is the only city with a half pipe in it. I'm a big half pipe fan. Like getting that special trick. If you hit a ramp at the perfect and you end up going high enough, you can get a special trick, which is an extremely high number of points. It may not always make sense for a lot of items, like say Daisy tie dress or something like that. You may not want to do, but for a lucky 7 or for a boomerang driver, it's a perfect way to stall and get some massive points there. Highly recommend that. Otherwise, I'd definitely check out and trying to grind the EXP. This is a great time. We may never see these tracks the rest of the year. So grind your player level if you'd like to do that. I consider it a pool grind, something fun, mindless to do, just kind of even one-handed. Otherwise, just enjoy the tour, enjoy this beautiful track. And until next time, we'll have our top 10 Woot Moo and Tyler joining us for Kart Talk. So until then, may the frenzy luck be with you. Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.